This diagram illustrates the $20 billion commercial pipeline between Iranian ports and UAE re-export hubs. For years, the UAE maintained a pragmatic, de-escalatory stance, serving as Tehran's largest non-oil trading partner. This loop acts as Tehran's primary foreign exchange conduit, providing a lifeline for dollar-clearing operations. On the night of August 18, 2026, emergency mobile alerts sounded across Dubai and Abu Dhabi. The UAE Ministry of Defense had detected 2 Iranian ballistic missiles streaking high across the Persian Gulf toward UAE airspace. The kinetic outcome of the strike was entirely non-lethal. One projectile impacted within UAE territorial waters, and the other just outside. Both hit empty ocean, resulting in 0 casualties and 0 infrastructural damage. Despite the lack of physical destruction, the diplomatic response was immediate and severe. Strategic Communications Director Afra Al-Hameli announced that the UAE was indefinitely suspending all trade with Iran. This policy shift was absolute. It legally severed every commercial operation, trade exchange, and financial transaction connecting the two nations. A military misfire that caused no physical harm provided the justification to sever an economic artery, moving the center of the conflict from the open sea to the global financial system. The UAE's total trade suspension functions as a restrictive measure, designed specifically to squeeze Iran's remaining foreign exchange liquidity out of the regional market. While initial online rumors suggested the outbreak of ground combat, the reality on the ground was strictly an economic blockade paired with a heightened national air defense alert. The scope of this economic confrontation quickly expanded when U.S. President Donald Trump entered the standoff to launch an intensified enforcement campaign. He issued a clear ultimatum: any nation, bank, port, or corporate entity caught aiding or transacting with Iran would face tremendous economic consequences. Out on the water, panic led to claims that the Strait of Hormuz had been entirely closed. While the crucial strait remained open to global navigation, it immediately transformed into a highly restricted, military-monitored choke point. Commercial crude oil shipping routes across the Gulf of Oman now face drastically elevated operational risks, requiring strict naval escorts and surveillance to safely transit the area. The combined force of the UAE trade freeze and U.S. secondary sanctions effectively replaces military strikes with a coordinated strategy of economic isolation. This new binary mandate traps dependent global economies in the middle, with India serving as the clearest case study of the resulting collateral damage. This map displays India's heavy reliance on the region, starting with its critical energy vulnerability. The country imports roughly 85% of its total crude oil requirements directly through the Gulf. To secure that energy flow in the wake of the missile launches, the Indian Navy was forced to place Operation Sankalp on high alert. They deployed warships to actively escort Indian-flagged tankers through the Gulf of Oman. India also faces massive demographic exposure. Over 3.5 million Indian nationals reside in the UAE, sending back upwards of $20 billion in annual remittances. Furthermore, New Delhi must protect its position as the UAE's third-largest trading partner, anchored by an $85 billion bilateral trade agreement. Yet New Delhi must balance these massive economic ties to the UAE and the US against its own strategic investments in Iran, specifically its crucial operations at Chabahar port. Chabahar serves as India's primary logistical gateway to Central Asia. However, it now sits directly in the crosshairs of the new U.S. secondary sanctions, forcing an incredibly difficult diplomatic calculation. This impossible balancing act isn't unique to India. Any energy-dependent nation attempting to navigate the geopolitical currents of the Gulf must now weigh its energy security against the immediate threat of financial isolation. The events of August 2026 demonstrate exactly how modern conflicts escalate. Wars are increasingly fought inside banking networks and heavily monitored shipping lanes, where severing a single financial artery can paralyze nations thousands of miles from the blast zone.